What's up, and welcome to episode 27 of Brewing Through the Multiverse. I'm Mike.
I'm your co-host Joel.
How we doing, man?
Living the dream. Living the dream in the cannabis industry.
Yeah,
Trying to,
good.
sling some weed.
Who would have thought viable
Yeah.
medical job position?
How about
It's a
yourself?
beautiful world we're living in. My week has been crazy. So anyone who doesn't know, we are a podcast of men who don't have enough time to actually play Magic. So we just sit here once a week and theorize about it.
Yeah.
But it's almost there. I just got the notification today that this is my last day on my job, which has been it's like a 2.5 hour commute there and then 2.5 back. So the fact that I don't have to go there ever again makes me happier than I could ever explain. And my next job will be pretty close. It'll be night shifts, so it'll be a weird way that we're recording. I'll be recording right before work, but it's all good news, whatever. And it sounds like in the future we will be playing a lot more Commander. We're getting some days, in the books, ready to go. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I find that really it's just and I wonder if like our listeners, all three of them, have this issue too, where it really just takes someone to like pitch a date. And I find this to be the case of like any plans that you're making with like groups of friends. It's easy to say like, hey, let's do that thing. But it takes someone saying, let's do that thing on this date for like anything to get accomplished.
Yeah. It it's hard because and I don't know what it really is, but every weekend is booked, and
Yeah.
it's hard to get any free time to do all of the upkeep and maintenance of living a life, and then like trying to put luxury stuff like Magic in there. It's just been super
Yeah.
hard. I don't know where the
Hobbies.
time is going. But yeah, if it's written in my calendar, then you can't argue it. It's going to
Yeah,
happen on that day.
it's there.
Yeah. It's wild. So I'm just keeping an eye. If you see me looking up, Liam was like, "Hey, I'm going to go start a fire. I made a fire pit in the yard. I'm going to go start a fire." And I said, "Yes." I haven't really seen it all. Dana's very upset, so I'm just making sure he's not burning the house down. So
I just picture you looking up and just running across the yard on fire.
yeah, he just had a huge fire going, and I don't know if he panicked and put water on it, but it was just blowing there for a minute.
That's fun.
I love it. Yeah, boy stuff.
Yeah, young boy shit.
Yeah, I can't say no to that. Go start that fire,
No,
man.
yeah, get dirty.
Yeah, but yeah, so yeah, we should be playing soon. Have you been playing any other formats? Have you been playing any arena?
I've been playing Goldfish Commander games against myself.
Ooh, okay. Testing new decks or
No,
just
so
optimizing?
well, it's more optimizing. I put together, I have a couple new decks together. I deconstructed a whole bunch of decks. So I had a whole bunch of cards laying around. I got like some outlaws cards in, cards that were held up in other decks just to spread them around a little bit. So yeah, it's mostly been just trying to like see if I like certain cards in certain decks, kind of get my 12 tight, 12 decks tight.
That actually sounds good. I listened to the podcast from Command Zone about gold fishing, and it's a great thing. I want to do it more, but to be honest, my time I've been playing Balatro. Have you heard about this
The hell
game?
is Balatro?
Balatro is like Slay the Spire. Did you ever play Slay the Spire?
Yes, I'm familiar with that.
Okay, so it's that, but like poker. And it's poker hands, but you level up and you can like get holographic versions of cards and you can alter what your deck has. So technically you're making poker hands, but you have a deck that's working with it, and there's jokers, and I have been so addicted to it. So any free time I've been playing Balatro.
Oh yeah.
Highly recommend it.
Yeah. No, yeah, video games has mostly been Overwatch 2. And other time is tuning commander decks.
Yeah, that's cool. Have you learned anything like big by doing all the gold fishing? Has there been any important realizations?
Yeah, I discovered that one of my decks I just did not find fun. So
Ooh,
yeah, by playing it enough times, I, just realized that like no matter what I drew, I never really felt like it was like effective. It was my clue deck actually. So I always wanted to put
interesting.
together an investigate kind of deck, and I really like Marnius Calgar as the commander because of how like powerful his static ability is with investigate. But I just found myself not really enjoying the play style, to be honest.
That's fair. I definitely run across decks like that all the time where you'll slice it and you dice it and you're like, it did the thing, but I still,
Yeah, the thing wasn't good.
yeah, yeah.
It's
That's
like you when you
awesome
tried
too.
that thing with that girl you always wanted to try, and then like it's like the angles are weird, or
Yeah, you're
doesn't
just
fit.
alone and sweaty up there, and you're like,
And
oh
it's like
gosh.
not as fun as I thought it was gonna be. I regret this. So it's that.
Yeah, you have to apologize afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, then that's awesome to accept it too, because I've found myself a few times trying to ignore that feeling and force a deck because I spent time and money to build it,
Yeah.
and like I'm faking it in order to keep it going. So
Exactly. And I have too many decks to the point where like I don't want to spend time wasting valuable game time on a deck that I like kind of enjoy, or like I'm trying to figure out if I like it or giving it another chance versus like the decks that I have that I know I'll never break up.
yeah, yeah, especially with someone like you who has well over 10 decks, because no matter how long we sit there to play Magic, you're not playing all your decks in a day.
No.
So, and a lot of times there's that deck you want to play a second time that night.
Exactly. That's the worst part is when you want to play a deck the second time.
My philosophy on that is embrace it. If you want to play that deck 3 times, or if that's the only deck you play that night, man, go for it. Mark is a firm believer of that. If Mark is
Yes,
feeling hot on a
agreed.
deck, he will hold it until he doesn't want to play it. And I envy that so much because I get the pressure of, oh, but I got like 9 more decks I gotta try. So gotta just play. Um, but that's it. No arena though, huh?
Can't. I'm trying, man. I did the couple drafts like 2 weeks ago, and it just
That's
doesn't
fair.
honestly, the problem for me is that like I legitimately feel that my enjoyment of Magic comes from the fact that I'm playing with actual physical cards.
Yeah.
Like
Okay. That's
legitimately,
fair.
I feel like that and like having a person there, I feel like is the draw for me because I don't approach Arena the same way I approach like Paper Magic.
Hmm.
And I don't feel like it scratches the itch either. Like it feels like I'm playing any other. I'm just playing any other video game essentially.
Interesting. Okay. That's fair. I don't see Arena as a video game as much as I see it as a deck building simulator.
Hmm.
Because I just, like, when I'm sitting there and playing, it's to try a new deck, to draft and build a new deck, to try a new card that I was interested in. And so at the end of the day, half of my time sitting in front of that screen is building stuff. And then the other half is testing it out. But I see it more as a simulator rather than a video game. And that's
That's
how I
fair.
get off to it, is to just build. But no, it's been good. And so actually this week I have been playing a Gruul deck that I had started a few weeks ago before Thunder Junction came out, and it was built around the mole, the Quake mole.
Yeah.
But this time I have it set. What was the big new card that came out that's helping me out here? So first off, it's just a bunch of one-ofs of big stuff. Terror of the Peaks. I got O'Hare, KLM. I have Railway Brawler, which has really done well. Having creatures come out with 1/1 counters equal to their power is insane. I got, the Atali. I got all the basics in there. And Goldbane Hydra. And ultimately, it's Smuggler's Surprise, which is what I'm going for. So when I have 7 mana, I just hit Smuggler's Surprise, cast it at instant speed, and put out 2 creatures. And it has worked so well. It gets very big. Hand disruption has been a problem for me. A lot of people are running hand disruption.
Are they running the black white? Look at your hand card. What the hell is that
No.
card? No. Is that for murders though? What am I talking about? You know what I'm talking about. It's just white and
Yeah.
black, and it's look at their hand, remove a non-land from it. And I think it
Yeah.
has some other effect.
Maybe scry one if something, if you pick I know what you're talking about, but
Yeah, I'm gonna have to.
I
Look
wouldn't
it up
even
later.
know where to search for it. So good luck, listeners. You know that card.
That card, the card that does the thing.
Yeah. No, there's a 2-mana one that takes anything, but it can also take like stuff from exile. And then there's that 1-mana. It's a Phyrexian one. So, but yeah, there's been a lot of hand disruption. But other than that, man, it's just nice to play a big stompy deck, and try to see how fast you could get it big and stompy. Been having a blast.
Yeah, the one standard deck I played was mono green Stompy, so I totally understand.
Yeah. Yeah. But Railway Brawler has been awesome. I recommend people throwing that in a deck and just giving it a try, watching your creatures grow. Awesome stuff. Other than that, yeah, we are now in Quick Draft Dominaria United, and I was very disappointed. And then I played a draft, and bro, they're just killing it with these sets lately. Every set is awesome. You want to play the newest, but they're all good.
Yeah. I mean, Dominaria United didn't wow me, to be honest with you.
Exactly. It wasn't their best, but playing it, it's still a really good set. It just speaks that all these new sets coming out are so good that even a good set like that is absolutely overlooked.
The card I was talking about, Soul Search from Murders. Soul Search is white black sorcery. Target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a non-land card from it. Exile that card. If that card's mana value is 1 or less, create a 1/1 white and black spirit creature token with flying.
Oh damn, that's not bad. You get a creature as well.
If it's 1 or less, so I wonder if that sees play in CDH at all.
I doubt it.
I mean, 1 or less, you're probably grabbing their Mana Crypt, Soul Ring. I mean, I don't know shit about CDH, but
yeah, I guess, yeah, because hand disruption's okay. I know in normal Commander you try not to actually rip cards from hands. Discarding is okay, but to actually rip cards from hands is always a little not worth it. But yeah, I don't like doing that stuff. Which actually is what I want to talk about today is what we actually look for in Commanders and what we look for in Commander Knights when we're sitting there to play. What is actually what we're in here for. But before that, let's just close off the table with anything else. Is there anything in the Magic world that you want to bring to my attention?
I mean, so I was just reading a little drama thing. I want to know your hot take on it, which was, so it's a pro tournament or some shit like that, some big tournament. And one player is just a random Joe, average Joe. The other player is a well-known professional, and they're playing to get into the top 12 who gets invited to the pro tour. And the way the points work is that if whoever wins that match was definitely going to get to go to the pro tour, but if they got a draw, then neither one of them gets to go because the winner of the other game at the other game going on simultaneously is actually the people that get to go. So they made an agreement. Listen, if it seems like it's going to go to a draw, the person that's way ahead should you'll concede if you're losing, basically. I'm not going to win this, so that at least one of them gets to go. So they made that agreement, but as they were coming to time and they realized that it was actually going to be a draw, they noticed that the table next to them was also close to going to a draw as well. So the pro player, who's also, by the way, the one that proposed the deal that the losing player will concede, who also was the player that was losing at the time, decides, actually, fuck that. If they're going to draw and we draw, the pro player knew that he could go to the pro tour he could get the invitation because of how like tie breaking points work. So he said like he basically fucked over the newbie player and said no, and then they went to a draw, and it turns out the other game did not go to a draw. So then neither one of them got to get invited to the pro tour. And then he posted like, something like, "Oh, I can't believe I didn't make it." And then everyone on Twitter was just like, "You're an asshole for agreeing to something and then reneging on it."
Damn. So hearing that initially, I'm like, listen, you're at a competition. It's always cutthroat. You do what you got to do to get the win. But also at the same time, I mean, it worked out to exactly what the fuck was going on. You
Yeah.
got to expect that. You're going to a sweaty Magic tournament.
Yeah.
And
Like
you got to
making
ask
deals with
yourself,
Commander.
Commander, because there's nothing on the table. Like if you're going back on your Commander oaths, like you need to take a long, hard look at your life.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's worth it to go back on it. I'm not saying never go back on it, but for the most part, consider.
I would say I feel like 99.9% of the time, no one in our pod ever breaks a deal.
Yeah. No, we really don't. But there's those scenarios where it's like, I promised you I won't attack you. And then it comes to my turn. Oh my gosh, I'm the worst. And then when it comes to my turn, I realize I can actually kill everybody. And it's one of these things like, listen, we're just going to end this game and get to the next one. I know technically
I feel
I
like
wasn't supposed to
that's
kill
a
you, but
caveat.
yeah, but that's all I'm saying is like, I don't want my opponents to feel like they have to uphold that strict of a thing. Like if you're
Oh,
gonna,
yeah.
if something's going on, all right, listen, you said you were going to destroy it. Something else came to the board. I'm not going to make you destroy the less of a threat, or it's always fine. But ultimately,
Actually,
in a tournament like that,
so counterpoint though to what you just said about the table situation. So what if on your turn you realized you could kill everybody, but the only reason that you're able to kill everybody is because the player you made the deal with didn't do something that would have not, like if they did the thing they were going to do, would not have allowed you get to the board state you were able to kill everybody in. Do you still honor it then? Like they had a board wipe or something, and it's like, oh, I won't board wipe, but don't attack me. Cool, sounds good. And then the next turn, you're like, oh, okay. I've got my I could kill everyone right now. Okay, so he could have board wiped.
It depends. Like if we're nearing the end of the night and we know we could probably get one more game in, I'd be like, listen, I am so sorry. You can come after me at the next game. I'm ending this. Let's get to the next one. But if it's like the first game, I'm totally okay with honoring it, and making fun of the fact that we're honoring it is like, all right, I could claim it, like just have fun with this. Like I could have killed you all could have been dead, but you're a gentleman, I'll honor it, and you move on, and you make it part of the game. So it's conditional. It's always conditional, and depends. If that person whooped my ass last game, maybe I would have a little less mercy.
Fuck it. Yeah.
It's a cutthroat world,
But I am very pro, like, extremely detailed deal, because if I didn't explicitly stipulate that I wouldn't do something, then I feel like it's allowed. Like if I said I won't attack you, and you're like, okay, deal, and then you combo out and mill everyone. I feel like that's yeah, exactly. I feel like that's fair because you didn't agree to anything beyond I will not attack you.
Yeah. Which absolutely, like,
I feel like that's fair.
Again, yeah, the politics is literally part of the game. So it's important to have fun with it and, utilize and play with it. And that's why a lot of the times I won't honor most agreements, even if it seems rational, like just the ability to be like, never mind, and now I'm coming at you. Like that's also part of it. It's like you tried to make a deal, and by even just suggesting it, now aggravation is. I like that stuff. So it could go either way. That's the beauty of the multiverse. It's wild out there. But no, in terms of that competition, that like tournament, I think in the first place, you shouldn't be making deals like that before the game even
Agreed.
started. You shut the fuck up. You play the fucking game. What it is it's two nervous people who really want the same thing, and they're trying, out of nervousness, they make this deal because in their minds, making that deal gives them a better chance of going.
Yeah.
And then now these two nervous people realize that conversation never even needed to have happened, and they
Yes.
just move on as if it didn't. So
I say step one, don't make a deal.
yeah, that's the mistake. Is like if you're there, just shut the fuck up. If towards the end of it you want to make your plea of like, hey man, listen, if we draw this and that, but they made it too early. That's my fucking take.
Yeah, that also reminds me of when we were playing like standard and stuff, and we had like a couple like tournament grinders like in the meta, and their frequent deal was always, I'll give you all the packs if you just give me the win, like instead of the draw. And
Yeah.
most casual people, myself included, take that because I'd rather get a couple, 3
Yeah.
extra packs than a PT point or whatever the fuck they were.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's a win-win. I mean, you're gonna get what you want. They're gonna get what they want, and as long as they still sit down and play Magic with you, like that's a good time.
Yeah,
'Cause that's it.
I will say
yeah.
I do miss standard sometimes. Well, I miss consistent 60 card format, like constructed on Friday.
Well, this Saturday I will be at Nemesis at 2:00 doing the standard showdown. I have put together my Rakdos Disguise deck in paper.
Wow, you did.
Yeah, dude, it cost me $11 to order all this stuff. It was nothing. Honestly, okay, so it was $11, and that doesn't include the land base. The land base I should have laying around. But the most expensive card was the Grixis' Command. So let's do it. I mean, I have some Shieldrids laying around and stuff like that that I can just throw in there, but it's like,
yeah, you do.
I got to keep it on theme because if I get any wins out of this deck, it'll feel so much better knowing that like I beat like the Mackies of the world with this. Like if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna earn it.
This is jank pile.
Yeah,
but hey,
so
Magic
we'll
is
see.
a great game because there's definitely been a non-zero number of like random jank decks that spike tournaments because it's just running on a weird angle that nobody's ready for.
Yeah, if people don't have a Path to Peril, my deck is pretty efficient. I have had tons of turn 4 wins without having to swing out, so I don't even have to do combat damage. There is ways that I could get myself some wins, but take the tournament down, no. But I'm there to put a little Salt Bay in that fucking in that meta.
Out of curiosity, I want to see what the MTG Goldfish meta deck game is.
So when I talk, it sounds like it's going to be all Esper. When I talked to John, he had just said Esper is going to be a thing. So
dude, yeah, Esper 17% of the share. Top 5 are Esper mid range. Ew. Domain probably using. I'm assuming that's a Atraxa.
Yeah,
all Atraxa. So Esper mid range, Atraxa, Azorius Control, Teamer Land combo, which is interesting. I'm not sure what the combo is, and then Boros Convoke.
Yeah, but I'll be there with my disguise cards. I'm gonna get them.
But also,
I'll report back. You guys will see. I'll be here. I'll be like, I won 2 out of the 3.
I won. I did it.
Yeah. I'm gonna have a fur coat and gloss glasses on. State championship, bitch. No, I hope so. And Troy should be coming with me. We're gonna see. We'll see. It's up in the open. I would love if Troy comes and we throw down. But yeah, so yeah, talking of paper 60 card decks, I did it. I'm out there. I'll be there this Saturday.
I feel like Control is too strong.
Yes.
I only say that because
Especially
looking at the top 3 decks, all of them have Azorius colors.
Well, I just played today, and so right now they have No More Lies. They have that new Spree counter. There's so many ways that they can counter and draw cards and do stuff and gain life, all while doing literally nothing but messing your board. And then meanwhile, there's manlands. There's tons of planeswalkers. It's in a really big spot right now. My dog is rubbing up on me so hard. He wants this. But so like it's a little aggressive. Actually, let me pause and get this out. We got people in. All right, we're back. We're all frazzled. We got everyone out of this room. I found out I could lock that door. That's useful.
That's huge.
Yeah. Don't remember what I was talking about. Standard, and
Bringing
standard.
Troy.
But anyway, yeah. Troy's gonna come.
Oh, Esper, Azurius. You said they have no more lies.
All the counters and all that.
Got
stuff.
it.
Yeah. But yeah, so just it is a problem. There's enough counter spells. I mean, Essence Scatter, Negate, No More Lies, the Spree one, the artifact that exiles your creature, Aegis of the whatever that exiles your creature, and then they can equip it, and they're now that creature. That's come across me already, which is huge. Like right now, I'm playing this Gruul deck. And they do that to an Atali. Suddenly they're swinging with 7/7s. That's just a land. Like,
nope.
It's a lot. And I've got to say, one of my least favorite things in Magic, truly, and I know it's a meme, but I really mean it, is there's something about counter spells and decks that are just denying what you do that really takes the fun out of Magic for me. I love it as a protection. But when it is the game plan, I have to muster up every bit of my strength to try to enjoy myself while I'm sitting through that.
I agree wholeheartedly. And I feel like thinking about it now, where the most of my frustration comes, because listen, I will play blue and Commander, but I think, and you could agree, you play with me more often than any other human being alive, that I mostly use blue to protect what I'm trying to do otherwise. Like, I'm never aggressively like controlling with blue. It's more so just like, I'm gonna do my thing, and if you try to stop me, I'm gonna blue you.
Yeah, it's a cunning illusionary like stack of yours. Like you use it to just kind of like move things out of the way, draw some extra cards. It's a tool that you use rather than a crutch that you lean on. And you use it well.
I will say, I think what I hate so much about control decks is that it just feels like there's not enough of a mana investment for them to do what they're doing. You know what I mean? Like, most of the counter spells are like 1, 2, 3 mana is almost like unplayable. But like, your 1 mana creature, your 1 mana value creature can get countered just as easily as your 5 mana value creature, and they're still only paying like the 1 or the 2. So it just like, as somebody that loves mid range, and that's probably where my extreme dislike of control comes from, but it just feels like the cost to stop my 4 mana value creature should cost you more than it does, so that you can like pay 2 and then on your turn drop like your 4. You know what I mean? Like that sort of thing. That's what annoys me.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, the ideal play set for control is I have 6 mana open. You cast your 6 mana spell. I counter it for 2 mana, and then I use my other 4 mana to draw 3 cards. And now I'm up 3 cards. You lost way more mana than I lost. And on the next turn, I'm going to do the same thing. And I'm going to keep on going until I deal my 2 damage to you every turn with a land. And I get it. Like, it's that thing where, like, if you need to win a war, you got to play dirty and anything goes. But if you're in a duel or some sort of like formal, one-on-one duel, you kind of want to, be a little
have some honor. Yeah.
Something's a little dirty about just like, not even letting you do it. And while you're not doing your thing, they're taking more cards. And because we could all do it. Like, that's the thing, is we could all play blue and white. Damn, listen to me. I'm hating so hard.
But I understand what you're saying though. Cause it's like, listen, motherfucker, do you want to play in the mirror right now? No.
It's the same as like when, because I play a lot of black. Sometimes I find myself loading myself up with like 12 target removals, 4 board wipes, and this and that. And it's almost like I'm the equivalent of like, I'm just going to keep on stalling the game until I finally get my Torment of Hailfire or something like that. Like, it's black control. And it's not how it should. There's got to be a balance. Like, you have to have removal, but you need to also put that back and forth. Otherwise, you don't have that good. We're not dancing, baby. You know, we're not dancing anymore.
I agree. That's great.
Yeah, yeah. But I guess that's through the eyes of casual players, who
Yeah.
are trying to get something different out of the game. Um,
That's why I appreciate aggro for being a control counter.
yeah, and
Or not counter, but favored.
yeah, the yin to the yang, yeah, because there's nothing better than having them try to counter your one creature, but you already have two more,
Yeah, you're
and
like,
as
I
they
don't care
remove the
yet.
one,
Next turn, there's 2 more haste creatures and a burn spell coming your way anyway.
yeah, yeah, it's nice. It's a feel good moment, but there's also those moments where like you watch them stabilize, and
And
you're
it's
like,
like,
there's no way.
GG, go
Now,
next.
how do you feel about concessions on something like that? Like, because it's happened to me where like I have one card left in hand, I get a board wipe, they have 7 cards in hand, and I concede most of the time. I know I can dig myself out, but there's a lot of times where it's like I know it's like you know
Yeah.
you know it's like so I'm a firm believer of like go for that concession, even if it looks like you're doing it sourly or unsportsmanlike. It's like yeah, but like you also know as the viewer that I'm not going to win this game, so like why are you going to make me play through this? Just let's move on to the next one. Or are
I
you a
will
dig it through?
only if I feel like there is a path to victory. If
We're talking
I
60 card, not commander. This is like 60
No,
card.
no, I agree. Yeah, but like
Okay.
I've been in
All right.
60 card games where like I have something in my deck that maybe even if I do top deck it, like it might swing it in my favor. But
Yeah.
in the scenario you just said where I have 1 card and they have like 7 cards or something, they have like 5 cards in board and I don't, like, yeah, absolutely I'll concede to go next because
Yeah.
I feel like I'm fairly good at analyzing like when it's time to throw in the towel. So I'm definitely a fan of, let's just come on, let's wrap it up and try to get to round 2 or game 3.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And then you don't have to sit through it because we know that shit. The only time that I would never do that when I'm not going to say never. But like during drafts or sealed, any sort of limited environment, don't you ever concede early because
Yeah, 'cause you
they
never
don't know
know.
what's in their deck. You don't know what's in your deck. Play it right to the end every time. I took some screenshots. I I would bother you with so many screenshots of these like wild games on Arena that I do, but I just had one where I got down to 1 life, he got down to 1 life, and we're both sitting at 1 life just building a board, and the first person that could get through got it. And it was like it was such a great feeling. Like I loved every moment of that game, and I don't even know who won. I just remember that feeling of getting it through. So but, dude, fucking commander. We're gonna
Yeah.
all right. When is our next game? It's not this week. It's
It's
next
next
weekend
weekend. Yeah.
with Connor and Melissa. All right. Awesome. And do you have any brand new decks to play for that?
I do.
All right. Oh my gosh, Fratty. What's up,
Yeah,
Fratty?
Friday's making a guest appearance.
Yeah. That's what's up. So you have fresh new decks then. Right.
Yes, I do.
Okay. Nice.
1, 2, I guess you could say 3. I guess you could say 3. Oh, I guess you could say 4, actually.
Never played, not once.
So this is the thing. It's all decks that got morphed from other things.
Okay, cool. Cool.
So other
it
things.
That's fresh. That's fresh.
Yeah, to me that's new, but it wasn't like I purchased cards for these decks. It was just a bunch of things blew up, plus like Outlaws cards too that I ended up picking up, and I just kind of like,
Nice.
yeah, why not make this? Oh, and also and a lot of them are like Fallout precons, like Caesar's ready to go.
Nice.
Dog meat became Earl.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair. Is dog meat in the 99?
I do have him in the 99 because I like the return the aura from the graveyard thing.
Mm-hmm.
But that's like I'm gonna have to play it a few more times with other people to see if he like stays.
That's fair. Yeah, might as well try it. I mean, if he's already there and it fits the theme,
Yeah.
might as well leave him in.
And then I guess it doesn't matter. It's gonna be new anyway. But I turned my Doctor Who deck that I had my precon, and I added loot, the key to everything, and I just made it a loot deck instead. So I swapped out a couple cards, and we're gonna give that a go.
Wow.
That
Okay.
that's just like a silly like upgraded precon.
That's cool. All right.
Yeah,
I really like Lou. I know he's the the sellout card,
mascot. Yeah,
yeah, he's the single on the new
Pikachu.
track coming out. Yeah. But I mean, it's cool. Look past all of the clear advertisement for him and it's still a good Magic card. So,
Yeah,
I'm for it. You can't. I know I'm one of those people where the more everyone likes it, the more I'm like, nah, suddenly I don't like it. But I like Luke. He's cool.
isn't that the exact opposite where it's everyone dislikes it, so then you're like, I like this thing because everyone doesn't like it.
It's the same of whatever. Like I was never, like, okay, here's the way. What's your starting Pokemon?
Squirtle.
Okay, I'm Bulbasaur. But don't you ever catch me
Fuck,
choosing
fuck
Charmander.
Charmander. Fuck
Yeah, dude.
Charmander. Fuck Charmander.
Dude, I'm
Agreed. Fuck
we're
that.
normally so opposite. I've never resonated with you so much.
Oh my
That's
god, I'm so
awesome.
happy that just happened.
But yeah, so yeah, that's how it goes. I love it though. Um, listen, I got a question for you. Are bounce lands card advantage?
No,
Really?
Vance lands are like, I'm pretty trash.
Well, hear me out. You tap that land, you use it, it gets bounced to your hand. You suddenly have an extra card in your hand. It's as if you searched for a land.
Is it though? I mean,
In a non-aggressive
it just comes
format,
in tapped though, so like you're not gaining any advantage from it. Well,
but you could tap that land that you were going. It's pretty much just it's a tapped land that comes in tapped and searches a land for you in hand.
no, no,
Okay, I heard someone say it. I was like, I
no.
mean,
I
they
disagree.
said it with conviction. Okay.
Because just like think like what is the optimal play? Turn one land, turn two bounce land, so that shit comes out tapped. And then turn three, you're still at three lands. And it's color fixing for sure. It's definitely
Yeah.
budget color fixing, but it doesn't give you advantage because it bounces the land.
Well, yeah, but so like, all right, you
You're
know,
not up.
you don't go up in land and like in mana, you don't ramp, but you do end up with an extra card in hand
In
technically.
fact, if you don't have a turn one play, you have to discard the card turn two anyway.
Well, that's my typical
So
experience of a
that is
bounce land.
again not at all advantage. It's literally disadvantage.
Oh my god. Yeah, okay. Yeah, because I mean, I've been playing bounce lands forever. I honestly most of my decks have at least one bounce land, and it's just because they're so cheap accessible and they do their thing. And I've never played a bounce land and been like, yes. Yes, I got my bounce land out. Like never. It's normally like what you said, where you're like, oh shit, I'm gonna have to drop this. I'm gonna have to discard a 7 mana card. And now, like later on in the game, I'm gonna wish I still had that. So yeah. But like I said, I think
No,
Saffron Olive said it in some random moment of a bounce land as card advantage. And I was like, I mean, on paper, if you were to sell that to me never playing Magic, and you're like, listen, it comes out, it taps for 2. You have to return 1 card to hand, but it's almost like you drew a land that turn because suddenly you still have your 3 mana on the board and you have a card. I would have been like, yeah, absolutely. Order me 100 of them. But playing it out, I don't think it's the same, right?
yeah. That's like Richard from Goldfish saying that like Spirited Companion is like the best card ever.
Yeah, yeah.
Just like a
That and
super hot take.
that's the aura dog that comes out 1/1 that lets
Yeah.
you draw a card, right?
2 mana for 1/1 that when it dies lets you draw a card.
Oh,
And I think
okay.
his arguments were like it chump blocks, it replaces itself, it like it counts as an artifact. I mean an enchantment and a creature, you know what I mean? So like
Well, that's why Troy is so huge on the medic from the new set. It's one in a white, 1/3 with lifelink, and when it dies, draw a card. And Troy's like, first off, it's a human. It's a 1/3 for 2. It has lifelink, and when it dies, you draw a card. So like Troy's been really pushing that card. And as you say that about Spirited Companion, it sounds exactly like that because Spirited Companion sounds like the same card, except it doesn't have lifelink. It's not a 1/3, and but it is an aura. So if that helps you, you know, the enchantment thing, right? But
Yeah.
Troy's on his game with this. He's a salty player. He's a sweat. I didn't even realize Troy's a low-key sweat.
We got to bring him on the podcast. I'm sure he'd love it.
Oh, dude, yeah. Yeah, get him on here. Oh my god, and we got to get killed. We got to figure out how to get a third person in here. There's so much with this thing we got to figure
I
out.
think because you're paying for the premium, like we can now, can't we?
I believe so, but at the same time, when I checked it out, I don't think I can invite a third person as a. I don't know. We'll look into it. I'll now that I'm leaving this job and I have some time in my life, I'll look into this. We'll try to get some hosts. You know, how sick would it be to get like Joey in here and fucking just
have like a
talk
round
shit.
table?
Yeah, talk some shit. That'd be great. I don't know. Would Mark come on here? We'd have to put like a not safe for work. Well, we're already not safe for work. Let Mark get in here. All right. Okay. I got some questions here for you on, and now we're talking the ideal, what we want in a commander. So when a new set comes out and you're scanning this list for what we want in a commander, I want to know how you look through it because we have different lenses. Everyone's looking for different stuff. First off, when it's released, I'm looking for a 3-color or a 2-color commander. If it's more than that, I'm not into it. If it's mono, I typically don't even really think about it unless it like really sings to me. What's your color count?
I like 3. I feel like 3 is an optimal commander color number. I just like the options, honestly, realistically, because when you're in 3, there's a good chance that one of the colors does one of the things that your other colors can't do. Like whenever I'm playing a dual colors that can't draw cards, I always like, damn, I wish I was in green or blue, or you know what I mean, like,
Yeah.
or there's like, if you're in green and you don't have board wipes, you know what I mean, like just going into another color with board wipes. So I like 3 colors. I don't mind 4 at all. In fact, I actually really love 4-color. I wish there was more 4-color options, just because I find them to be like, if they have like a unique build path, then I enjoy them. But yeah, so
yeah,
so
4 colors is an interesting thing. I know we had a whole thing on Nephilim, and I honestly I'd love to do a whole episode on just what the Nephilim cards would be. But 4-color tends to be partners. Do you like partner? What's your view on the whole partner shit? And can they make it better?
I'm not a fan of partners in the general partners. And I understand that partners are generally what run CDH because essentially you're just like looking for anybody with those colors, and a lot of the partners have like generic like Timna apparently is considered to be like one of the best like Orzhov creatures because it just draws you cards, gains you some life, and Thrasios is infinite mana outlet, which can let you cycle through your entire, you know what I mean? So like they're just generic, super generic.
Yeah.
What I did enjoy was like the partner with mechanic, like with Battle Bonds that Battle Bond had, where so it like forces you into it. It's essentially saying like this would have been 1 3-color commander or 1 2-color commander. We just happened to split it into 2 creatures. Like that to me is more in line with what I'm down with.
The partner with, you know, I'd really like to see partner with other permanent types. So like you know, a commander
backgrounds?
Well, like backgrounds, but it doesn't have to just be an enchantment. Like I'm sure there's some blue creature that you could partner with a legendary artifact, you know, or I'm have some man. The new Cosmere, Secret Lair comes out, and you have, the Blackthorn, and he pairs up with, you know, I don't know, his, you know, Oathbringer, Bringer.
Oathbringer.
Thank you. You know, and like have that happen, or a battle, you know, like have a specific battle card as the companion for it. So there's a ton of ways that they could do it where it teams up. And if they don't want to, I liked what they did with Strixhaven, where the legendary creature has another card type on its back. So they could do that too. But I'd love to see more of that without just this like generic partner, because the generic partner doesn't do too much for me.
And also, I'll caveat also say that to a lesser extent, I think partner with is the best iteration, but I also liked the Friends Forever mechanic where it's like a smaller cluster of creatures that can all work with each other. So
yeah, like a
subclass.
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind more of that, but ultimately, yeah, just partners is too generic. It doesn't speak to me at all.
Yeah. Like Captain Planet comes out and there's just like the 5 rings that can pair up, you know, or something like that, you know, like just some other way. I'm okay with it, yeah, but the generic partner is a little iffy. Keep it a little bit more restricted. All right, when you're looking for a commander, would you rather it to have a sick ETB trigger or a sick attack trigger?
That's a good question. I want to say, I mean, it's not ETB and attack like a Nixia.
Nope, one or the other.
One or the other. Attack trigger.
Attack trigger, yeah. Yes.
Right, only because you could use it more often.
Yeah. Yeah. And you could abuse it more. For sure. Okay, awesome. So a 2 to 3 color commander, 4 if possible. You want it to have some sort of attack trigger. All right. What's the mana value for this creature? What are you looking
3
for in a commander? 3. Okay.
Cheapest
what's
possible.
your second option? Are you going to go
4.
higher? Would you rather it go 4 or down to like a 2?
Well, 2 then is a 2 color. So if I'm looking for 3.
Oh shit. Okay. Hybrid. It's hybrid. No.
Yeah. Oh wow. Shit. That's yeah. No, I love cheap commanders. I love commanders that you can play early. I love commanders that are easy to play on curve because you know, your commander's probably going to get removed. Like it's almost guaranteed that someone at one point or another is going to single target or board wipe. So, or you're going to have to lose it in a jump block or something. So like you're going to have to replay it. And most of the time I tend to build more on like the commander focus side where I'll build redundancies into the deck, but like what the commander does is like what the deck is set up to do rather than me building a deck where like all of the like mechanics are within the deck and the commander's just kind of like a face for it. Like I tend to build more commander centric, but it's gonna get removed. I want to play it again, so I try to get as cheap as possible.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I do enjoy a nice commander that's like 5-6 mana that when it enters. Okay, so here's that. If it's 5+, it should have an ETB. If it's 4 or
100%.
less, give it an attack trigger. Okay,
I agree.
Cool. Because I loved having Rakdos as the helm, the showstopper, and at that point it comes out and everyone's just holding their breath of like, okay, what's getting destroyed, what's not. Even Massacre Girl, where they see it there, they know that that's when it's worth it. But if it's just a value engine, keep it low. What do you feel about protection on a commander? Like if it's got ward or
oh, I love that
hexproof or kit.
Who wouldn't like that? You don't want protection on your commander?
Only because it makes you an immediate target. When someone sits down and they have a oh man, I love making my commander not look like a threat and then finding a way to build it up. But to be honest, when I see a commander that has protection on it, it's almost like a turnoff to me a little bit because I'm like, it's gonna be a problem. Because then it makes a puzzle that people want to solve. They're like, okay, so I can't target it with instants and sorceries, but maybe I can, make him do. And now suddenly they want to achieve this goal of fucking up your commander. When if it was just a normal creature, they wouldn't have even thought.
That's fair.
I see it iffy.
I just feel like I'm gonna get targeted no matter what. So like I'm whatever natural advantages I can build into the commander, I'll take. Give me that ward, sacrifice a legendary. creature. Or,
Yeah. The Saruman one is great. Yeah,
yeah,
sacrifice a legend. Oh,
that's
dude.
so good. I'm a huge
What
fan of weird ward costs.
dude, there's got to be some nice word costs in the Marvel set coming up. You know,
Yeah,
like for the Infinity Rings, like every one of those like gemstones must have some wild like word cost or sacrifice in order to cast it. Like there's so many things they could do with that, but no, fuck protection in a commander. I don't know. How do you feel about commanders that let you draw multiple cards?
see, like I understand their value. I don't have many commanders that actually do that, like have built-in card draw staple to it.
Yeah.
Um,
I personally feel a commander shouldn't allow you to draw more than one card. And maybe one card per turn, but definitely not like multiple a turn.
but I recognize their strength. Obviously
True
they're very
lane and stuff
good.
like that. Yeah.
However, I just built loot, and loot is essentially draw extra cards.
That's conditional. They're getting
Yeah,
exiled. It's a different thing.
exactly. And it's based on how many different types of permanents you have out, which is another hoop to jump through, which is a big reason why I like loot.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so if you had a choice between a build around card or like a value engine card, who would you rather put as the commander?
Build around.
Yeah. All right.
So those are the
Sure.
commanders that like attract me the most. Is like if I see something and I feel like that's a unique way to like go about advancing the board state, then I'm usually more drawn to it. I like alternative strategies.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Okay, and I'll say True Lane again. True Lane is one of those cards where it's like so clearly as a Magic player, that that's a good card, but I would never in a million years build it because it's like I don't know, it's that
Carvold?
mainstream country song that like clearly this is a good country song. You did it. You nailed it, guys, but also at the same time there's no soul to this. There's no
Yeah,
I need
it's
a little
corporate.
something to yeah, yeah, corporate, yeah. So yeah, I would definitely take a build around. Um, what I would love to see more that they bring into cards that I know that they've been shying away from, but okay, here we go. I want Wizards of the Coast to start making more commanders with downsides and random effects. I think that'll add so much as what I'm looking for in the most of cards right now is I want a little bit of downside to get around and I want a little bit of random effect to really spice up a game. Because you can optimize a deck to where you know how it's going to play. But if your commander has a random effect of some way, even if it's just dice roll, even if it's just percentages, even if it's, if so and so is on the battlefield, I like the randomness. So that's what I would love to see in commander is a little bit more downside and a little bit more randomness.
Agreed. I like the random effects. No, I really do. I have found myself though, like I just broke apart my like Yidris kind of deck, and I do feel like they're fun a couple of times. It's not like my main squeeze though. I like a couple of random effects. Like I don't necessarily know if I'll ever enjoy like a fully like this thing is going crazy kind of deck.
Yeah. Which is why I broke up my Simic deck so quickly. It's like, sometimes it's like, okay, so much is happening, but it's like
Yeah, I don't want to deal with this right now.
Yeah. Like and then Crater Hoof, you guys get it. You get it. But yeah. So yeah, ultimately we want 2 to 3 colored, build around, advantaged but not too threatening, with a little bit of pizzazz to it. And that's
Yeah,
what we're looking
and that's
for.
it. That's it.
Yeah. That's it. Okay. Now let's get to the game. We all have our decks that we love. We have our commanders. We're sitting down. We're getting ready. Is there a sign to you that a game went really well?
Yes, when I feel like multiple people have a big turn.
Okay. So yeah. You want to see people do their thing. And as long as everyone achieved that, that was a good game.
Yeah, so like ultimately, yeah, I enjoy winning, and I try to win when I can, but I also feel very satisfied if like okay, Joey had a huge turn, and like we all had to kind of band together to shut that down. And then all of a sudden, like you're popping off, and then okay, we had to band together to shut it down. Then I go off, and then everyone like piles on me to shut it down. So like I like when everyone gets like their time to shine, and then like the game of how are we gonna shift gears to deal with like this person like going out of control right now.
Yeah. Do you do you ever think of Commander as kind of like a co-op game rather than a multiplayer game so much? To where not that we're like team working, but at least we're on a journey together. And like there's not is ultimately what I'm saying is like we're not playing for a winner, but we're playing for a journey. And we're all kind of like adding to this thing. And then at the end of you want to grab the win at the end. Like, listen, let's face it. And I know you don't either. I do not sit down right off the bat and go, I sure hope I fucking win this game. But at some point of the game, in your head, you're like, okay, I'm gonna try to seal the deal now.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't happen on turn one. At some turn of the game, you realize I think I want to win this one, but it's not why I sat down. So like we're all eventually getting to this I want to win, but like I like to think of it almost as like we're all sitting down as a co-op game. Like this is almost like a I don't know, like a dungeon crawler or some sort of thing. We're all kind of in it together and everything's going to happen. And eventually one of us is going to win, but it's not a person PvP scenario so much. Unless I'm not in the mood. And then, Joel, I'm coming after you with everything I got. And I'm swinging the 0-1 plant token at you also.
I've been there before. No, yeah, I agree with that to an extent too, because like there's definitely been times when it's like, okay, that person hasn't played anything for like 4 turns. They're stuck on colors. They have nothing out. I could just like bop them in the face and knock them out, but to give them a chance to kind of get back in the game, I'm not going to hit them. Or like, I've been ragging on this one person for most of the game. Let me like spread the love. In reality, probably like the most efficient thing to do would just be like nuke one person down and then nuke the next, you know what I mean? Like that kind of thing, rather than how we all kind of like spread the damage a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, all right, so if you think about like a Final Fantasy or a turn-based game, and there are there's 3 enemies, and 2 of them are fine, and one of them's really powerful. In order to max min your scenario, do you get rid of the 2 little guys first and save the big guy for last, or do you get rid of the big guy first and save the 2 little guys last?
I almost always when I'm in a position where I can kill somebody, and like let's say I'm doing like a really big swing and I'm trying to do the math and figure it out, I will always knock out the person that I feel like has the best chance of beating me first.
Yes. Okay. Awesome. I agree also. So ultimately what it comes down to is I will not do player removal just because I can do the most damage to you. It's going to be if you are a threat, I am more than down to take you out of a game early. But you better be showing a threat. Otherwise I'm not going to destroy someone. But now when I sit down to play Final Fantasy or, I'm thinking of Slay the Spire again, playing all these, card games, these low grade card games. I will normally take the little guys down first. That way they're out of the way and I can focus all my attention on the big guy.
Yeah.
But when it comes to Magic, I do the opposite of it's like I'll take down the big guy first and I leave the little guys. That way we're all in it together at least. But I guess that's not the same because in a 4-player commander game, your opponents are also your allies in a level of it,
The only time I don't do that is if I'm playing a Voltron / like infect. The strategy where like you're the win con. I know every win con is to kill the other players. Like I understand that. But some decks do it by like doing a fuck ton of things that like in one swing, or like they need to rush one thing. Like so then I'll like focus fire somebody really quick. Like if I can, like if they're open for the kill, just like bop him and kill him to get him out of there, because I'm I have to like build up resources to get to kill the bigger person. So in those instances, I'll kill a little person first if they're available, but only really like if it's Voltron.
Yeah. Where like that was your mission statement from the start. You know, it's
Yeah.
like I have to take people out when I can, while I can.
Yeah, because that's
Uh,
just more opportunity for my one thing to get removed.
yeah, and we have a few different um, play groups and everything, and in all of the play groups that I play in, it all is always kind of the same of like, don't kill someone out of the game unless there's a legitimate reason you can state as to why they should go. You know, um, it's worth it to leave someone in. We're all there to play. So, but again, the second that you start showing a threat, yeah, play
You're
removal,
gone. Yeah.
yeah. But like, if someone's like mana screwed, I'm not gonna be the person to be like, oh, I have a 7/7 and I can't swing it into your death touch, so I'll swing it at. I'll hold that off.
I also
Um,
love using that situation to like coerce like people into being your ally, because like it could kill you, or if we make a deal and I don't kill you, you'll send all of your bad resources elsewhere. And like
yeah,
most of the time, in order to stay in the game, people will make that deal.
yeah, definitely. Even though they don't have to, because at the end of the day, if you don't make that deal, but you are polite about it, they're still not gonna take you down. Like,
I
but
will.
you
I will.
only because they denied that deal.
100%. Yeah.
That's the beauty of it. Is like that politic is like, and I do it a lot to where like if I see things get politically like heated, I'll go take a piss. I'll excuse myself from the
Yeah.
table. That's
Physically
that's
remove
another
yourself.
that's another level of politicking.
Yeah.
Is like, shit's going on. Let me just get my
That's
face
the
out of here.
mental
That way I'm
game.
not. Yeah, dude, that's 5D chess right there.
Hell yeah.
It has nothing to do with the fact that I'm 7 IPAs deep and I just
Nope.
I
Nah,
really
it's
be again
that's big brain. That's big brain thinking.
for sure. That's funny. But yeah, I one of my favorite things to look for in a commander game is if there's a lot of treasure tokens, doubling mana, and permanent swapping and copying. Um, if that has happened throughout a game, it was going to be a good one. Um, it's it's that using of resources that just add extra. It's I don't know. Treasure tokens is the greatest thing that ever happened to Magic. It's this beautiful way of one time
Hot take.
mana. Hot take. Listen, how happy are you to see a treasure token? But at the same time, it's a fleeting thing. But it's a permanent, and you can sacrifice it, but you can tap it. But it's treasure tokens are phenomenal. Doubling mana is pretty much kind of a treasure token, and then permanent swapping is just fun. When you want to get wild, and then copying. So I think if you see that in a game of Magic, get ready. It's a good one. Unless it's a smothering tithe to a stacks deck, in which case get ready for a bad time. Which actually, so I want to ask you, and I'll say it very adamantly, is I think stacks is my least favorite commander style. I'd rather you do extra turns than stacks. I think that is the least fun, the least friendly. Like, if you're doing that, you're doing it for a reason. And sometimes it's because you've never done it before and you just want to try it, and that's fine. But like, sometimes you're doing it for a reason. So how do you feel about stacks? Or what do you think is the most cancerous version of commander?
Flying tribal.
Bro, I did not expect flying tribal to be your kryptonite. Okay. All right.
And I'll specifically call out the number of times that we lost to like Mark's different variation of dragon decks, and even my own dragon deck when I had Mirim. But it just
Yeah.
seems unfair that like such an easy evasion, like all of a sudden they have a flying creature, and like even if they don't have great creatures, if they all have flying, now all of a sudden like you can't block anything. And it's just like, then there's so many decks that I build where it's like, oh, I have to remember, how am I going to deal with a flyer if they have a bunch of flyers? And I'd rather try to puzzle my way out and like teamwork my way out of like a stacks kind of situation than I would dealing with somebody who's just going to fucking hit me in the air for 6 every turn because I can't fucking remove the thing. And all of my huge creatures on the ground apparently can't stop it. You know what I mean? So flying.
Okay. Damn. All right. That is interesting. I I guess I agree, but at the same time, I think flying will end a game a lot faster than stacks to get me out of that game.
I guess,
Um,
yeah.
but at the same time, you didn't have fun and you still lost. Um, how do you feel about scoops in Commander? Because like I'm okay with anybody scooping at any time. I know we talked about it a little bit in other, but like Commander, scoop, you okay with that?
As long as it doesn't stop somebody from like getting
No
some
instant speed.
value.
Yeah,
Yeah,
never. No,
exactly.
anyone doing that, come on. Come on.
And I would say that we generally have, and no one really does this, maybe Mark once or twice, but we still said fuck you, was just if you're going to get something out of attacking that player, like life gain or card draw or treasures or what have you, and then they scoop in response to the attack, it's like you still get those triggers. Like,
Yeah. I've definitely done it. I've done it where it's like someone's coming, it's like, you know what? No. I'm gonna before we even go to combat, I'm out of here. You fucking kill someone else. That way we can get to the next game.
well,
I've definitely
that's,
done some
yeah,
spite scoops, but
I'll scoop in that regard too, where it's like if I know that I am not gonna like be able to stop this person and they're in a position to kill like somebody else, I might as well just scoop so we can move on to the next game. Like so that
yeah,
but
yeah,
that's also I don't feel like denying them any value. It's not
yeah.
that they
No,
would
yeah.
have.
Never a gotcha moment.
Yeah,
No.
it's just that hey, listen, now you could just devote your resources instead of having to do like 5 minutes of math to see if you send 3 creatures that way, 2 over here, and cast this. Just fucking
Yeah.
hit them all on that guy. I'm out of here.
Yeah. It's like, and it sucks too, is like when you concede, because sometimes I concede and I think everyone's gonna like follow my lead. And then I concede, and then everyone else is like, no, I'm sitting this out. And I'm like,
Uh,
uh, all right,
damn it.
well.
Uh,
I thought I was having a moment there, right? Isn't that
yeah,
the clap moment? All right, well, but again, you own it, you sit there, you do your thing because
shuffle up.
you were gonna, yeah, that's it. No, concessions are good. Um, don't be afraid to concede. Again, as long as it's not a gotcha moment. But I love it. We did that 3-way concession once, just
That's
because again,
legendary.
yeah, man, yeah, that'll be written
And that
written
was
on the
definitely
tablets.
wasn't that also a game where just Mark was out of control? Like his board state was just like bonkers, and we all banded together and like removed things, cleared the board, like knocked him out, and like that's the reason why because he was so far ahead the whole game that we all felt like we won when we killed him.
Yeah,
So we're
yes,
just like, you know what? We all win. We did it.
yeah. Yeah, it's like, yeah, we just shot the beast in the knees and then we all like lit ourselves on fire and celebrated.
Yeah, it was great.
But yeah, he hated it. He hated it so much. And honestly, that's what made it so special.
So much better.
We're
Mark,
a
if you're
fucked up
listening, we
play
love
group.
you. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we're fucked up like that. But I don't know. Yeah, no. Fuck stacks and taxes and taxes are okay. All right, let me clear that up. Tax me all day. If you're gonna say it cost me X more to cast this, X more to cast that, I'm okay with that. Just like don't let me not be able to untap lands. Don't let
I can't
none of my
cast this.
right. Like yeah. Yeah, but if it's like you have to pay 5 mana to attack, it's like, okay, no, you did a good setup. I can remove that. But I have my mana available to try to handle this tax. But the stacks effects of it, where it's like, oh, I don't even have mana to do it, and this and that, where it's like, so yeah, no, that hurts me. That's wild. That flying was your shit. Let's see here. Activated triggers in a commander game are my favorite thing in the world. If a commander game has stacks and stacks of activated triggers and triggered abilities, that's my favorite thing to happen. Like when you have a knowledge pool out and there's 3 Phyrexian arenas, but someone has a card that says that whenever you draw a card, everyone else gets to draw a card. But also at that time, whenever we draw cards, everyone takes 1 damage. Like the more convoluted and bullshit that our triggers and stacks happen, the more into the game I get. And I know you feel the same way. I've seen you. You build decks specifically for that sometimes.
Oh yeah, I love that shit. I love like Rube Goldberg machines of just like this
Yeah.
happens and then these three things happen. So then you need to stack them, but then that activates your thing. So like you get a copy of the spell, I get two creatures, you get to draw a card. Yeah, no, I'm a big fan of. I like bells and
Yeah.
whistles. I really just like things happening.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
when things happen. That's, I mean, at the end of the day.
Yeah. And that's why treasure tokens, mana doubling and swapping and copying is a telltale, because things are going on. It's the back and forth. I love to blow my load and then slap some chodes. You know what I mean? Is like I want you to get crazy.
Blow load, slap chodes. That's the fucking new tagline of the podcast.
That's what I'm here for. That's, if you meet me for Magic, get ready for that.
You're blowing loads and you're slapping chodes. Let me tell you.
Which I guess comes down to the next thing in Magic is booze and broccoli is what I'm looking for when we're sitting down to play. I enjoy a non-sober, fun game. I'm sitting down for fun. We're there for entertainment. I'm there for my friends. I'm there for a good time. And I need my booze and broccoli. So I know this is a family-friendly game. I know all these things, but at the end of the day, I want to have a good time. I want to be struggling to remember all my triggers and be excited when they all like went off really well. Like, you know,
yeah.
You draw one card and suddenly you feel like you have an entirely new hand. You're like, oh my God, the possibilities. Like, that's good stuff. I love it. Okay. I've seen a few memes about this and I'm curious of your take. After a game, there's always that person who says, if I had one more turn, I could have blank.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Fuck that person. And I've also done this myself, so fuck me in those situations too. But fuck that person. You didn't.
Okay,
you
so
didn't win.
I'm that person 100% of the time. And I love that person. And if you also enjoy doing it, meet me after a game and we'll talk about how we definitely
could have won. Yeah.
I love that shit. Only because I mean, at the end of the day, like by that turn, everyone is at the cusp. We're all edged and ready to go. And it's just funny to see who does it first.
You know what?
But it is a nice release to talk about.
I take it back. I think the person that I hate even more than that, not hate, that's a strong word. And there's somebody that we know that does this frequently, and I'm not going to call them out. Just saying it happens all the time, who said like, oh, I would have won if I did this, but I decided not to.
But I decided not to.
That person is way worse than the I could have won next turn
if
person.
I only could have.
Yeah, because that person is essentially saying like, oh, I won that game, but like I let you win. And that's the worst.
Ooh, yeah. That's my least favorite feeling in Magic is like when I won a game, but I feel like somehow that win wasn't legitimate, you know, like I was Joe Biden in the 2020 presidential election, you know, like it's like so I won, but did I?
I'll never say that I would have done something to win, but I will, like, if I've won a game in the night, like I'll actively like, you know, if somebody hasn't won and the other two people have won, I'll like not attack that person. And I feel like that's not the same, but I will do that.
It hurts me every time you don't kill me and I end up like slowly winning that game. And like I end up like, you know, resourcing it up in the snap, but like I know you could have killed me at that moment. And that's my most hollow of wins. And I know that low key, that's what makes you happiest.
Oh, it's so good.
I know. It's like you saw me win, but hey, you never said anything and everything.
Yeah.
You can never prove it. It's plausible deniability. But I see that smile on your face. And I'm like, oh, you let's see. What else do I have here? I have written fuck multiple board wipes. At that point, just end the game. I'm sure that's not even enough conversation. Like after the third board wipe, just fucking end the game, huh?
Yeah. Well, yes and no, because sometimes I feel like that's some of the best games, and that kind of goes into like, so if everyone gets a big turn, then it like board wipes to kind of reset. I don't mind those games. It's just like when no one's really doing anything fun. It's like, oh, rebuild, 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 board wipe. Like have a big turn and then force a board wipe, but not just like it's a stalemate because nobody could swing through. All right, wipe the board.
A board wipe when everyone's top decking is the worst.
Yeah.
Because now at this point, it's like no one's doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, it
And
sucks.
now it's just like, we're all beat up and we're just on the ground kind of slapping each other with sticks. It's not even fun anymore. I have, for some reason, I had written down in my notes, I want handsome Squidward Fibblethip.
Word. Okay.
So, wizards get on that unless I have to do an
You're gonna
altar.
have to do it. You're gonna have to do it.
All right. Handsome Squidward Fibblethip, and we're giving it away to one of the 5 listeners that's listening.
Yeah. Make one
Keldon
comment,
or Joey. Here you go.
One
buddy.
comment on the YouTube, and we'll pick a winner next Thursday.
We've never had a comment on a single platform ever.
Yeah. First comment gets the I don't even making it. I'm signing Michael up for it.
I'll send it. Whatever you want. I'll tell you
comment by next week.
Yeah, and you'll get whatever you want. We'll pander.
Yeah,
that's awesome. So handsome Squidward Fibblethip, and the one thing I do need to mention is I have a hard time doing anything other than Magic with Magic friends. So like we've been friends for over a decade now, at least a decade.
Yeah.
I've known you forever. We've been to concerts, we've done things. You're my brother-in-law. We're doing shit all the time.
Yeah.
But whenever I hang out with a Magic friend, all I want to do is play Magic.
I agree.
Like whatever, we could be like skydiving at sunset, in Maui, and I'd still be like,
you have your deck, bro?
Cards. Yeah. Like, so I went to Keldon's wedding this weekend. It was wonderful. What a beautiful wedding. Everything was fantastic. It was awesome. He used the knife that I made him to cut his wedding cake, and that fucking
awesome
made me very happy. But at the end of the day, before I headed there, I legitimately said to Dana, I think I should bring a deck just in case at their wedding with their whole family there.
Somebody got a pod going.
I mean, so that was a concern of mine. It's like, should I have one just in case? And I think that's just a testament to what Commander means to us, is to where no matter who you are, if you play Commander with me and I'm hanging out with you, in the back of my head, if I don't say it, you could say it to me. Hey man, you have your deck, and I'll be like, yeah, I did fucking bring a deck.
Do, bro. I do.
Yeah. So no, Magic is something special. Next week we have some Modern. I think we'll get some more spoilers for that bullshit.
Nice.
Yeah, we'll see how it
I'm
all
excited.
goes. Yeah, it was a nice time chilling with you, man. So this weekend, I don't see you next weekend. But I'll be able to play the standard. I'll let you know how that all goes. Next weekend we will have our Melissa and Connor session. I will see how some of those new decks go, man. I have a ton of new stuff to play. So
just getting prepped for 12-hour Commander Extravaganza.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we got to start practicing, get our marathon going.
Everyone should drink a lot of water beforehand, get stretches in.
I'm gonna be so fucked up for that. Get ready. Oh, and to anyone, you made it to the end of the podcast. You hear me? I name these podcasts. Sometimes I have multiple drinks before I actually get this all uploaded and post it. So just the podcast names and all that stuff. Get ready. Don't read the descriptions. I'm trying my best, guys. We're brewing out here. Anyway, I think we're at the bottom of the glass, brother.
Here we are. That's the bottom of the glass.
I will see you next week, man. Take it easy.